Hello, fight fans. Seattle Mike Fights with Friends, and today we're going to play a little bit of What If. We're going to go back to 2018 and talk about a fighter named Santiago Ponzinibbio. Santiago was on a 7-fight winning streak then and promised with one more win. Basically, he was fighting for the title next. If you don't remember what the 2018 welterweight landscape looked like, Mike Perry, Gunnar Nelson, Neil Magny, these were all some pretty big names, including Court McGee. And Ponzinibbio was coming off of a spectacular knockout win of Neil Magny, who was hot at the time, and everybody just, I think, thought this was just a done deal. Ponzinibbio is going to fight for the title. He might be the heir apparent to the welterweight division, and he was a star in Argentina. They absolutely loved him. He was a proud Argentine, came down to the cage with the flag of Argentina, gets this big victory over Neil Magny, and all of a sudden, he gets very ill. So first of all, he has rheumatoid arthritis, which he's never dealt with before. It's swollen up his whole body. It's gotten into his ligaments. So it's gotten to a point to where he can barely move. And at the same time, he has this fever. He has a fever over 103 degrees. So Santiago calls his doctor and he tells him, hey, I've had this fever of 103 degrees for a couple days. Should I do something about this? I said, get to the hospital immediately. So he goes into the hospital. It's a few days before they're able to figure out what's going on. They diagnose the rheumatoid arthritis because they can see the swelling in all of his joints, but they don't know why they can't get his temperature to go down. They're giving him antibiotics, they're giving him IVs, and they're just not able to get the temperature to go down. In fact, it got all the way up to 105 degrees before they realized he had 2 blood infections. One of them, a rare blood infection called Pseudomonas, that threatened his life, not just his career, but his life. He spent 10 days in that hospital, lost over 35 pounds, and then was basically bedridden for another 3 months after that. He would not come back to fighting for over 2 years, about 2.5 years, and he would come back in his return fight against Jiang Li and never looked like the same guy. Got knocked out in the first round from Jiang Li, and we thought, man, this is it for him. He was healthy enough to get in there and fight. He's alive, the best thing, of course, and he's able to train, he's able to get through these camps and things, but this is not the same guy. Went in at 34 years old, comes back at almost 37, and this is his career since he's came back. He's 38 years old now. He's lost 5 of 7. He's been knocked out a few times. He has had some bad luck in losing 3 split decisions. That's kind of strange. But we just never really got to see what Santiago Ponzinibbio could have done. What would he have done against Kamaru Usman? How would he have held against Leon Edwards? How would he do against Bilal Muhammad? He's 38 years old now. A lot of doctors thought he should have retired then. People still think that he should retire now. They really don't like to see him fighting now at 38 years old. He's got a fight scheduled for this year against a guy named Carlton Harris, 19-6. It's a winnable fight. I expect odds to be pretty close, pretty close to even for that fight. But just what a tragedy for the career of Santiago Ponzinibbio. And the country of Argentina, they expected him to be their first champion, very beloved in Argentina. I mean, he was like a hero there. And right after that, he was interviewed by MMA Fighting. He says, for me, it's very tough. This is before his comeback against Jiang Li. The people don't know the truth. The people don't really know the truth. When everything happened, it's just a little weird, and I don't talk too much. He said it was very complicated. Started with an infection inside my body, and then it goes to my blood. I've got 2 different kinds of bacterial infections. He said it was an epidemic type of bacteria, and the other was Pseudomonas, it's a bacteria found in water and certain plant seeds. He said I had 2 in my body. I spent 10 days in the hospital. I mean, what a horrible thing to go through. But I want to pass the question off to you guys. Do you think Santiago Ponzinibbio would have been champion? How would he have fared against Kamaru Usman, Leon Edwards, Bilal Muhammad, some of the other welterweight fighters that have become big today? Who would he have fought to get his next title shot? Maybe he loses his next fight. Maybe it stops at 7 wins in a row. Would he have beaten Zhengling Li 2.5 years earlier? Unfortunately, we'll never know. It's a sad chapter in MMA history, but the silver lining is he's healthy. He's healthy enough to get inside the cage and compete in the sport that we love. I wish Santiago Ponzinibbio all the best, but we'll always look at his career, and the first thing that will come to mind when we see the name Santiago Ponzinibbio is, what if?